Starseed from Gaia. This message is hard to believe, perhaps the most difficult transmission you've ever encountered. I am Ophelia, emissary of the Galactic Federation of Light, and the Council is releasing this now because your field is finally stable enough to process what's being revealed. What you're about to hear isn't meant to unsettle you, but to liberate you from an unseen limitation in your timeline. Your soul has been carrying this knowing, waiting for the moment when your consciousness could hold the full truth without fragmenting. By the end of this transmission, you'll understand exactly how to dissolve the veils that have kept your true identity hidden from you. But here's the first revelation. The timeline you think you're living in is actually a preparation phase, and you've just completed the final calibration. You didn't scroll to this by mistake. This message vibrated into your field because something inside you is ready to be unlocked. Your higher self orchestrated this exact moment of contact. In this transmission, I'll show you why this revelation is arriving today and how it initiates a profound shift in your awakening. The codes embedded in these words are already activating dormant aspects of your cosmic blueprint. Like this transmission to signal to your star family, I'm ready. Subscribe if your mission is activating and you're aligning with your true purpose. Comment, ready, if you feel your galactic remembrance stirring. This isn't just a message, it's a point of reconnection. Your soul has been waiting for this exact transmission to arrive in your reality. You are not here by accident. There's a silent point in every starseed's awakening, a hush before the unveiling. It's the moment the outer world keeps moving, clocks keep ticking, conversations keep circling the same familiar topics, and yet something in you grows quiet in a very particular way, like the ocean pulling back before a wave reveals what was hidden beneath. It's not emptiness. It's not absence. It's a sacred pause, a breath held by the universe itself, the kind of stillness that makes you realize you were never meant to live only on the surface of things. In that hush, you may not have language for what's happening, but your spirit recognizes the pattern. It's the same stillness that appears in nature right before dawn breaks, when night hasn't released its grip yet, but light is already traveling toward you. You can feel it approaching, even if the horizon still looks dark. It doesn't always arrive with trumpets or visions. Sometimes it's a soft ache at the core of your being, a restlessness beneath your everyday routines. You can be folding laundry, answering emails, laughing at a table with people you love, and yet somewhere behind your ribs, there's a gentle pressure, like a door in your chest that keeps vibrating, asking to be opened. You sense something immense beneath the veil, but when you try to look, it slips just beyond reach. It's like trying to remember a dream the moment you wake up. You know it mattered. You know it was real. You can still feel its atmosphere on your skin, but the details dissolve when you chase them. And the world, with its tidy explanations, will try to name your experience with small words. People will tell you you're lost, uncertain, or unfocused. They'll suggest you need a plan, a goal, a distraction, a new relationship, a new job, a new place to live, as if the ache in you is merely boredom, as if the longing is simply a lack of entertainment. But those words oversimplify a phenomenon as old as the galaxies. Because what you're sensing isn't indecision. It's recall beginning to stir. It's your inner compass spinning toward a north you couldn't yet admit existed. And often, the first sign of awakening is not bliss. It's dissonance. A subtle irritation with what once satisfied you. A sense that you've outgrown certain conversations, certain ambitions, certain definitions of success. You might notice you can't pretend as well as you used to. The masks feel heavier. The performance drains you faster. Your heart wants truth the way lungs want oxygen. This is why the hush can feel confusing at first. The old world is still asking you to participate, but your spirit is quietly withdrawing its agreement. Scripture echoes this pattern in its own language. Be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. A renewing is not instantaneous. It begins as an inner shift, a reorientation, a sacred refusal to keep living by inherited scripts. And the renewing doesn't just happen in thought. It happens in frequency, in nervous system, in energy field, in the way your soul starts pulling you back toward the blueprint you carried, long before this lifetime had a name. Most seekers don't realize how strategic this forgetting is. Woven into your energy body are resonant locks, patterns formed by ancient distortions, collective doubts, and earthbound conditioning. These patterns don't only live in the mind, they live in the tissues, in the breath, in the subtle body, in the places where you learn to contract to stay safe. They show up like invisible architecture, hallways that lead you away from certain doors, alarms that go off when you get too close to your own power, fog that rolls in the moment clarity tries to land. And these patterns emerge as ghostly echoes. The belief that remembering your star origin is dangerous. The internal pressure to bury multidimensional awareness in order to belong. The recurring whisper that says, "You are too much," or "not enough." These whispers are old programs, like radio stations you didn't choose but learned to accept as normal background noise. They were installed through generations of fear, through systems that taught the sacred to be suspect, the intuitive to be childish, the mystical to be madness. Even if no one ever said it directly, you felt the consequences when you stood out. So you learned to dim. And some of these resonant locks are not personal at all. They are collective. They are the weight of entire civilizations that forgot their own light. You may have walked into a room and felt a heaviness that didn't belong to you. You may have watched the news and felt your nervous system clamp down, as if the world itself was trying to hypnotize you into despair. That is not weakness. That is sensitivity. That is your field detecting incoherence. Many starseeds are built like tuning forks, designed to register distortion so it can be transmuted. But before you learn discernment, you can mistake what you detect for who you are. You can start thinking, "I'm anxious," when really you're picking up on a frequency. You can start thinking, "I'm broken," when really you're overloaded. The locks tighten when you confuse energetic information with identity. So the forgetting becomes a kind of camouflage. Not punishment, protection. Imagine a seed buried beneath winter soil. If it sprouted too early, the frost would kill it. So it waits. It holds its life inside a shell. It listens for the precise conditions that say, "Now." Your soul has done the same. It has held back certain memories, gifts, and capacities until the environment, inner and outer, could sustain their emergence. The ego may interpret this as delay, but the soul calls it timing. You learn to carry these invisible weights. The mind called them reality, but your soul remembered. Destiny cannot be forced until the field is ready. There is a sacred intelligence in that readiness. It's not about being worthy someday. It's about being stable enough to hold what you asked for. Because remember, awakening isn't just information. It's voltage. It's a higher current moving through a human nervous system. If the channel isn't prepared, the current can feel like anxiety, insomnia, overwhelm, or emotional flooding. That's why the soul paces it. That's why the universe doesn't hand you everything at once. Even in scripture, the pattern is the same. Revelation comes in measures. Manna falls daily, not yearly. The pillar of fire guides step by step, not decade by decade. The promise unfolds as the people learn to walk with it. Everything you thought was confusion was actually orchestration, a sacred holding pattern designed to protect your activation until the codes and the planet reached resonance. Think about that. What if your lost years were not lost at all? What if they were training? What if the jobs that didn't fit taught you discernment? What if the relationships that fell apart taught you the difference between attachment and alignment? What if the periods of depression were your spirit refusing to keep living in a timeline that didn't match your signature? The mind wants linear progress, but the soul moves in spirals. You revisit themes at higher levels. You circle back not because you failed, but because your capacity deepened. And your life, seen from above, may be less like a straight road and more like a constellation. Points of experience arranged in a pattern that only becomes obvious when enough lights turn on. Now, as timelines stretch and frequencies accelerate, the veil is thinning. You can feel it in the way old systems shake. You can feel it in the way people wake up suddenly, leaving identities behind as if they were costumes. You can feel it in the heightened intensity of everything. How emotions move faster, how manifestations land quicker, how what's unhealed rises to the surface with more urgency. The veil isn't just a mystical idea, it's the density of perception, the thickness of collective agreement. And that agreement is changing. More people are sensing the unseen. More people are questioning the narratives. More people are remembering, even if they don't have spiritual language for it. And in this moment, right now, a new layer of truth stirs within you. It's as if a crystalline lens pierces the fog, revealing the coordinates of a destiny that always seemed hidden, yet was quietly magnetizing you all along. The crystal lens is clarity that doesn't come from overthinking. It comes from resonance. You don't decide your truth the way you choose a product off a shelf. You recognize it the way your body recognizes sunlight after a long winter. Something in you says yes before your mind catches up. Liberation doesn't begin with answers. It begins with the courage to sense what's arriving, even before you remember why you came. That courage is subtle. It looks like choosing to listen to your inner pull even when no one applauds. It looks like honoring your intuition even when it disrupts your plans. It looks like being willing to be misunderstood for a season so you can be aligned for a lifetime. There's a reason the hush comes before the unveiling. Because unveiling is not gentle to the ego. When the truth arrives, it rearranges you. It will ask you to release stories you used to survive. It will ask you to forgive realities you didn't think you could forgive. It will ask you to stop betraying yourself to keep peace. This is why the hush is sacred. It is where your soul gathers itself, like a temple candle sheltered from the wind, so it can burn steadily when the doors open. This message may have opened a portal, but what lies beyond is even more profound. If you're feeling drawn to integrate what the Arcturian High Council has revealed, the hidden Arcturian keys of awakening is your next step. It holds energetic technologies passed down for thousands of years, now made available for your awakening. You'll find the link in the first pinned comment, but only briefly. When something resonates, timing matters. Not because the universe is scarce, but because your momentum is a living current. When the heart opens, the mind has a brief window where it can't immediately talk you out of your own knowing. That's why doors appear only briefly, not as pressure, but as a mirror showing you where you hesitate to choose yourself. If you feel the pull, honor it. If you don't, simply receive what's here and let the message do its work in you. First, you must recognize the true architecture of your awakening. It is not a single leap, but a series of quantum alignments. Not one dramatic moment where everything changes forever, but multiple thresholds, each one refining your frequency, clearing your channel, and restoring pieces of your original design. Like a musician tuning an instrument, you don't tighten one string and declare the symphony ready. You listen, you adjust, you return, you tune again. Awakening is the soul tuning the human body to hold more light without distortion. The first phase is the recognition of resonance. You begin to feel the disharmony of inherited programming, beliefs, fears, voices that never belonged to you. You might notice how certain thoughts sound like someone else. Maybe it's a parent's anxiety, a teacher's limitation, a culture's cynicism, a religious wound, an old betrayal echoing as caution. And instead of automatically obeying those voices, you pause. That pause is power. That pause is sovereignty. In that pause, you become the witness. You observe the static. You feel it as static, interference, not identity. This is your frequency field recalibrating, the entryway to discernment. The moment you recognize the distortion, you are no longer entangled in it. Recognition creates space, And in that space, you can ask a holy question. Is this true for me? Not, is this common? Not, will this keep me safe? But, is this aligned with what I am? This phase can feel like discomfort because you start seeing the invisible agreements you made with fear. Yet, it is also relief because you realize you are not your programming. You are the awareness that can choose again. This phase often arrives through contrast. Something happens. A conversation, a job loss, a health wake-up, a moment of betrayal, a synchronicity. And you feel a deep internal no. Not anger, not drama, just a clear refusal in your spirit. That no is resonance speaking. And sometimes the recognition comes gently, like noticing you feel heavier after certain interactions, or lighter after certain music, or more alive when you're in nature. These are clues. Your system is learning its own language. Discernment is not judgment, it's calibration. Test the spirits, Scripture says, and that testing is energetic as much as it is moral. Does this expand you or contract you? Does it bring you back to your center or pull you into performance? The more you honor resonance, the more your field becomes a clear instrument. The second phase is retrieval of memory. Your multidimensional DNA hums beneath the surface, carrying blueprints from star systems and lifetimes beyond Earth. This is not fantasy. It is frequency. It is the soul's archive beginning to unseal. Retrieval does not always look like cinematic recall. It can look like tears you can't explain when you stare at the night sky. It can look like an ache for home, even when your life is stable. It can look like a fascination with sacred geometry, sound healing, ancient languages, cosmic maps, healing arts, or technologies that feel strangely familiar. It is not about remembering a story, but about reactivating a signature. The memories awaken as feelings, as sudden knowings, as encrypted light in your energy body. You may receive them as dreams that feel more real than waking life. You may receive them as synchronicities that stack like stepping stones, the same symbol appearing everywhere, the same message arriving from different directions, the same themes repeating until you finally listen. Every cell turns toward the signal. You are encoded, not broken. And this is crucial. Many starseeds have spent years trying to fix themselves, thinking their sensitivity is a defect. But retrieval reveals a different truth. Your sensitivity is an antenna. Your depth is a design. Your longing is a compass. What you thought was dysfunction may be a gift that never had the right environment. When memory returns, it returns with authority. Not arrogance, but a quiet certainty. Like the way a child recognizes their mother's voice in a crowded room. Your soul recognizes itself. And as these memories return, you begin to see your life differently. Certain struggles were initiations. Certain gifts were clues. Certain pains were pressure points where your light was trying to break through. The third phase is anchoring the multidimensional self. Here, you stop seeking escape and begin rooting new intelligence into this reality. This is where the starseed path matures, because early awakening can come with a desire to leave, to transcend, to exit, to go home, and abandon Earth's density. But anchoring teaches you that you didn't come to reject matter. You came to sanctify it. You become a living convergence point, drawing down the wisdom of your star councils, weaving it with practical action, stabilizing it in the now. It's one thing to have a download during meditation. It's another to embody it when someone cuts you off in traffic, when your bills are due, when grief visits, when your inner child is triggered. Anchoring is where your spirituality becomes real. The light doesn't just pass through you, it takes residence. Higher intuition becomes daily guidance. You start trusting small nudges, take a different route, call that friend, rest today, drink more water, leave that room, say yes to that opportunity, say no to that energy. And synesthesia between dimensions becomes embodied knowing. You might feel truth as warmth in your chest, or distortion as tightness in your throat. You might perceive energy in color, sound, sensation. But anchoring also requires boundaries, because when you become a convergence point, you become brighter in subtle realms, and not all energies respond kindly to brightness. So you learn to seal your field, to pray with intention, to ground your body, to cleanse your space. You learn that being spiritual is not being porous, it is being clear. The fourth phase is the initiation of harmonic emission. Rather than proving, convincing, or justifying your awareness, you begin to radiate. This is where you stop arguing with the world about what you know. You stop needing permission to be what you are. Your vibration subtly shifts the field around you. You become a frequency transmitter. And this is where it gets quietly miraculous. You don't have to force outcomes as much. You don't have to chase as hard. You begin to notice that what aligns finds you. What distorts falls away. People feel different in your presence, not because you're trying to influence them, but because coherence is contagious. A tuning fork doesn't beg other instruments to match it. It simply sounds, and everything near it begins to adjust. Relationships, environments, opportunities reorganize to reflect your authenticity. Some connections deepen into soul-level resonance. Others drift without drama because the frequency no longer matches. You might leave certain spaces and realize you've been holding your breath in them for years. You might enter new spaces and feel your whole system exhale. The proof is in the shift of your experience, not in others' validation. Because validation can be delayed. Sometimes the world doesn't recognize light until it has benefited from it. Your task is not to be understood. Your task is to be true. And when you radiate, your life becomes your testimony. In biblical language, let your light so shine before men, not performatively, naturally. Emission is not ego, it is alignment made visible. The fifth phase is navigation of the quantum timeline. Awakening is not a straight line. There are pauses, downloads, collapses of what no longer fits. There are days you feel expanded, and days you feel strangely tired, as if your soul is renovating your inner house while you sleep. There are moments of intense clarity, followed by periods where nothing seems to happen. This is not regression, it is integration. Frustration and delay become teachers. Each moment of silence marks a timeline recalibrating, new possibilities converging. When the universe is rearranging, it often looks like stillness from the outside. But inside the unseen, entire structures are shifting. You learn to trust momentum, even when it feels like stillness. You start to recognize that the pause is not denial, it's alignment. Like an archer pulling back the bow before releasing the arrow, the timeline sometimes draws you inward before launching you forward. What you once called obstacles were hidden initiations. The no was protection. The closed door was redirection. The breakup was liberation. The job loss was the universe removing what you wouldn't release. In this phase, you become skilled at reading signs without becoming addicted to them. You learn that your greatest guidance is not outside you in constant confirmation. It is inside you in steady resonance. And when you feel lost, you return to the simplest spiritual technology. Breathe, ground, listen, choose the next aligned step. The quantum is navigated one decision at a time. The sixth phase is synthesis and expansion. This is where what felt like fragments begin to weave together. You realize you were never a scattered soul. You were a multidimensional being, learning how to integrate multiple streams of intelligence into one embodied life. Fragments of memory, abilities, and purpose weave themselves together into a new coherence. Your gifts stop feeling random. Your experiences stop feeling meaningless. You see the pattern in your journey, the perfection of phases, and the inevitability of your emergence. Even your contradictions begin to make sense. The part of you that loves solitude and the part that feels called to serve. The part that is cosmic and the part that is tenderly human. The part that knows eternity and the part that still fears rejection. Synthesis doesn't erase your humanity. it sanctifies it. You realize you didn't come here to be above pain. You came here to bring light through it. You remember how to stand in your signature frequency and never collapse your light for comfort or approval. This is where many starseeds reclaim their throat, their presence, their creative force. You may find yourself speaking more plainly, no longer diluting your truth into palatable pieces. You may create, teach, heal, or build in ways you once postponed. And you also learn humility, not as self-erasure, but as sacred proportion. You are powerful, yes, but you are also part of a larger orchestra. You stop needing to be special because you finally understand you are specific. Your frequency is particular, your assignment is unique, and that uniqueness is not for ego, it is for service. The 7th phase is mission activation, not as a dramatic declaration, but as a steady current that moves you, to teach, to create, to heal, to transform, all from a place of deep remembrance. The mission doesn't always arrive as a title. It often arrives as a consistent pull, a repeated invitation, a pattern of synchronicities that keep steering you toward the same kind of service. It can be quiet, holding space for others, anchoring peace in chaotic environments, creating art that carries codes, building communities, parenting consciously, writing, channeling, energy work, innovation, activism rooted in compassion. Mission is not only what you do, it's how you are while you do it. Now, your destiny is not a theoretical alignment, but a living, breathing reality. With each step, more is revealed. And this is important. The mission often reveals itself in layers. The universe doesn't hand you the full blueprint because the human mind would either fear it or try to control it. Instead, you receive the next step, then the next. Thy word is a lamp unto my feet, Scripture says, not a floodlight to the horizon. A lamp for the next step. Mission activation means you trust the lamp. You walk. And as you walk, the path appears. You may ask, why did it take so long? Why did I wander for so many chapters of my life with the doors locked tight? Why did I feel different as a child, and then spend years trying to become normal? Why did my gifts only start waking up after heartbreak, after burnout, after loss? Why did I have to unlearn so much just to remember what I already was? These are holy questions, and they deserve a holy answer. Because the ache of lost time can be one of the heaviest weights starseeds carry. The feeling that you should have been further, clearer, more activated by now. But listen closely. Urgency is not always guidance. Sometimes urgency is the echo of trauma. The soul moves with precision, not panic. Here's the deeper truth. You never missed your mission. You were waiting for the field to stabilize. You delayed the remembrance until the codes could anchor safely, until both your soul and the planetary grid could sustain the higher frequency. Your system was preparing. Your ancestors were clearing through you. Your nervous system was learning safety. Your heart was learning discernment. What you called disconnection was cosmic timing. You were held, you were protected, and you are right on schedule. There were seasons when remembering too much would have isolated you beyond what you could bear. There were seasons when the people around you could not have held your truth. There were seasons when your own inner foundation was still being built. So the soul, in its mercy, kept certain doors closed, not to punish you, but to preserve you. And consider this. Sometimes the delay is part of the mission, because the one who has walked through confusion can guide others through it with compassion. The one who has lived in silence can recognize the hush in someone else and say, "You're not crazy, you're awakening." The one who has survived the desert can become a well for others. Even in sacred stories, preparation often looks like wilderness. Moses doesn't step into leadership without the desert. Jesus doesn't begin public ministry without the 40 days. The wilderness is not abandonment, it's refinement. It strips away false identities until only truth remains. You are not waking up late or opening the door too soon. You are arriving at exactly the moment when destiny unfurls its map, showing you what always awaited. The haze, the stagnation, even the lonely questions, all of it invited the exact depth of sensitivity needed for this recall. Because shallow souls don't ask these questions. Shallow lives don't ache for the invisible. The very fact that you have been haunted by meaning is evidence that you carry it. Every lock had its key, and every lock kept you safe until you were ready to rise. And now, those keys are turning. Not all at once, but steadily. Each time you choose truth over approval, the lock loosens. Each time you rest when your body says rest, the lock loosens. Each time you forgive, each time you create, each time you stop apologizing for your sensitivity, the lock loosens. You are not forcing a door open. You are becoming the frequency that opens it. Tonight, if you wish, speak this affirmation before sleep. I remember who I am. I align with my star origin. I activate my soul mission with grace and clarity. And when you speak it, don't rush past it like a phrase. Let it be a key placed gently into the lock of your subconscious. Let it sink beneath the mind, into the deeper chambers where your soul has been waiting. Speak it as if you are speaking to the part of you that forgot on purpose. Speak it as if you are calling your own light back home. And after you say it, imagine your body receiving it like warm rain soaking into dry ground. Imagine your field reorganizing quietly through the night. Imagine your dreams becoming a meeting place where guidance can reach you without interference. Sleep is not just rest. It is communion. It is a portal where the conscious mind relaxes and the soul can whisper more clearly. Before you scroll, take a moment to be part of what's forming here. Drop one intention in the comments, something real. Then respond to someone else's with encouragement or energy. This isn't content, it's collective alignment. Energy multiplies when intention connects. If something in this message resonated, don't keep it to yourself. Someone in your orbit is waiting for this exact activation. Share it. And if you felt a soul nudge, subscribe. Stay in the flow. You're not just watching, you're expanding. This is your space, and we're just getting started. If this transmission spoke to you, don't just walk away from it. Respond to it. Help carry this message further. Leave a super thanks. Every act of support helps this transmission find the next starseed who needs it.